Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the Staredown. I'm Mallory, your host, and I'm ready to jump in. So sit back, relax, grab a drink or two, and let's start the Staredown. All right, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to episode 10, The Laces That Tie Us Together. I'm really excited to be here. I had a wonderful weekend in Oxford yet again, which I don't think that there's ever really a bad time in Oxford, at least not for me. I made some great new friends that I met at the Blind Pig on Friday night. Some Arkansas fans, they were wonderful people. It was their first trip ever to Oxford. You know, we invited them to tailgate with us on Saturday. I've now made friends with them on Facebook. We took pictures and they just raved about how wonderful all the Ole Miss people had been. And that just brought the biggest smile to my face because you guys know, and you've heard me say it enough, I just want football and sports in general to be fun. So Sheila, Keith, your entire families, thank you so much for coming. I hope your first trip in Oxford was a blast. I'm sorry you didn't leave with a win. Actually, I'm not really sorry about that. I'm actually very, very glad you didn't leave with a win, but I hope that at least the rest of the time was enjoyable. So obviously, again, fun weekend in Oxford. My best friend Cody came down and went to the game with me, and it's always just such a good time with him. He and I we just love to entertain, I feel like. And he also makes sure that I eat throughout the day instead of just hosting and trying to be the best tailgate hostess I can be. So I was glad to have him down. The weather was perfect. We finally had good football weather. Obviously, though, there was a game. That was what we were there for. And I'm sure you can hear it in my voice yet again. I had to scream a whole lot. I'm not going to talk about the refs, not in this episode. I'm going to have another episode later on this week since Ole Miss is on a bye. So you'll be hearing from us again on Friday. And I'll have a couple of special guests with me then. And I have no doubt that we're going to get into how horrible the refs were. But doesn't matter how bad the refs may have been. Doesn't matter how, inefficient our offense may have looked. Our defense stepped up, killed it, and we came out with another win. So I will absolutely take 5-1 to start the season. We have a bye week, like I said, this weekend, and I don't think it could come at a better time for us. I think it's exactly what we need. So hoping some of those guys get a little healthier, get a little bit of rest, and let's go into the second half of the season. I'm ready. I said early on that I didn't want this to just be an all Ole Miss podcast. So I want to continue on with some really good stories that I've heard over the last few weeks. I actually had a conversation with my mom about how do I continue on with this theme that I feel like has been running through the last couple of episodes and that I've kind of built up to. And this is our first double-digit episode. Welcome to episode 10, y'all. I'm just so happy to be here. And I feel like the stories that I've got for you guys today, it's going to be an extension of what we have talked about, but it's going to kind of take it away from me and my personal story, and it's going to shine a little bit of a brighter light on the world as a whole and what sports can do kind of in that worldwide sense. So let's just jump right in. One of my favorite shows in the entire world is Welcome to Wrexham. If you have not watched Welcome to Wrexham and you love Ryan Reynolds or you love Rob McElhenney or you just love a feel-good story and you want to see someone in Hollywood, someone who has so much money and so much power and that social mind and that mindset and that understanding that they can use their name for good, then Welcome to Wrexham is absolutely the show for you. So they're in their second season. The premise of the show is they bought a failing football club in Wales, and it's in a little town called Wrexham, and they pump money into this team, right? Like that's what they have. They have money. But beyond that, they pump life into this town, into this little sleepy town. And season 1 was so cool to see them, bring in players and kind of watching that. To me, it's definitely a mix of, I would say probably Hard Knocks, but mix in a little, I don't even know. You know what? Screw that. It's not a mix of anything. It's just Welcome to Wrexham, and it's amazing. I know it's probably a little bit tied into, the Ted Lasso thing, everybody jumping on board with the football thing and the Americans coming in to such a very non-American sport and helping. But you guys, what they've done for the city of Wrexham, it's just absolutely incredible. So they're back with season 2. It's following the second season of them owning the team. And we go into episode 2, and it's been out for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to wait because I knew if I just started watching them like when they came out each week, that wouldn't be enough. And so I needed to just sit down and binge. So I did. And when season 2 started, I finished episode 1. And then when episode 2 starts, I was not ready. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. The episode starts off with Super Paul Mullen. If you know, he is a phenomenal player for Wrexham. And it's him and his son on the beach, and he's trying to spell out his son's name, Albie, and I believe Albie is about 2 or 3 years old at this time. And then the next thing you know, we're talking about the fact that Albie has autism. And so where this kind of comes into play is back in January of this year, actually January 27th to be precise, he tweeted out his cleats on Twitter, obviously, if he tweeted it out. And it's the autism logo, the heart with like the puzzle pieces and the different colors of the puzzle pieces. And it has his son's name, Albie, written on the side. And his whole thing with that was just to, put it out there about autism and bringing awareness to it. So I thought that was really cool. Then all of a sudden the episode switches and there's a girl named Millie. And I'll also kind of tell you guys this. I'm jumping around a little bit, so I'm not really going in chronological order as to how the episode works, but it all ties together, just like the episode title today says. But there's a girl named Millie, and she is such a super fan. She's super fan Millie. So we have Super Paul Mullen, and then we have super fan Millie. And super fan Millie is basically the queen of the quiet zone. And the quiet zone is actually a portion of the stadium that Wrexham plays at that is meant to be for those who have autism or other disabilities where they need a quiet place. So they can go and they wear their headphones and so they don't hear anything and it doesn't overstimulate them, but they still have a safe space to be able to enjoy the game. Y'all, how cool is that? And how amazing would that be if we start seeing that kind of thing in every sport around the world? So Millie is an artist, and Millie is so cool, and she knows all the players and they all know her and they talk to her and she talks to them. And, listening to her mom tell her story about how it brought her out of her shell, and y'all, I'm going to cry. So y'all just bear with me. If you haven't learned by now, I'm always going to probably have a scratchy voice, at least through football season. And I'm probably going to cry on every episode, but Millie's mom talking about how that team brought her out of her shell and makes her feel like she's worth something. And she obviously is worth something, but they give her purpose. And it just, it got me. And the tears were just like waterworks at this point in the episode. And where it ended up going from there was Millie put together a care package for Albie, for Paul to give to Albie. And she included things like a really soft blanket because that helps her when she's stressed out and anxious. And so her having autism, she wanted to help Albie with his autism. And it was because of Wrexham and because of the football club that this was even made possible. And I just thought that after the conversation I'd had with my mom and, telling my mom kind of about the weekend that I'd had in Oxford for the LSU game and getting, to talk to David Cutcliffe and all of those guys and Patrick Willis and telling them, it's like Mom said, that's what this is about. And to see something very, very similar happening literally halfway around the world, it just drove it home for me. It just drove it home that this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to talk about. And I want, people to realize that it's more than just a game to a lot of people. But if we don't tell these stories, then, people may look at us weird, and that's okay because, I think I said this in another episode. It doesn't matter if it's music or movies or a TV show or whatever it is, whatever you connect to that gives you that sense of reassurance that you are good enough, that you are worth it, that it's your thing. I am here for it. For me, it just happens to be sports. And for Millie, it happens to be Wrexham. And I love the whole thing. So you guys go check out Welcome to Wrexham. I believe they've dropped 6 episodes so far. There's another couple of things that they've dropped so far in the show, and I'm not quite ready to talk about them on here yet. We'll get there, but it's such a great show. And so if somehow this makes it halfway across the world and Millie and Paul ever listen to this, Millie and Paul, I just want you guys to know that watching that just made me smile because I feel that. I felt every aspect of that interaction, and I felt the love and the warmth, and how in that moment you didn't see each other as a fan or this great footballer. You saw each other for what you are, and that's human beings. And Millie, you provided support for Paul and for his wonderful son, and Paul, you helped Millie too, and you gave her the time of day, and you understood, and you continue to seem to understand that she's a person, and that's ultimately what matters at the end of the day. So hats off to both of you. I cannot wait to see the rest of the season. I have a feeling this is not the last we've seen of Millie. We know it's not the last we've seen of Paul Mullen, but I'm really pumped to see how the rest of this goes. So, on that note, let's jump into our next topic, which is AJ Brown. On Monday Night Football, on Monday, September 25th, the Eagles played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And AJ Brown, love AJ Brown. Titans, we're still stupid for trading him, but whatever. I'm glad he's at least with his friend Jalen. But AJ came out in these super awesome bright green cleats. Neon, green, yellow. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They were awesome. He comes out in the second half in black cleats. All right, well, I know what this means. The No Fun League has struck again. And I wasn't wrong. So AJ comes out and basically says that he was told by the equipment manager that he would have to change his cleats or they were going to have to pull him out of the game. No lie. So he changes his cleats at halftime. All right. So he doesn't get fined by the NFL, though. So the NFL has this crazy, crazy rule, and I'm actually going to read it to you. I went and looked up this rule. Like, this is how stupid this situation is to me. I went and literally read the NFL rule book and then started asking some people that have way more know about this than I do. But in the order of the rules, there are a bunch of different rules. Rule 1 is the field, 2 the ball, 3 definitions. Rule 4 is game timing. Rule 5 has to do with players, substitutes, equipment, and general rules. Okay? So then let's go to section 4. Section 4, equipment, uniforms, player appearance. Article 2, team colors. This is how far down I had to dig, you guys. Pursuant to the official colors established for each NFL club in the league constitution and bylaws, playing squads are permitted to wear only those colors or a combination of those colors for helmets, jerseys, pants, and game socks and or leg coverings, provided that white is also an available color for jerseys and mandatory color for the lower portion of game socks and or leg coverings. See 5-4-3 Item 6, game socks and or leg coverings below. Each player on a given team must wear the same colors on his uniform as all other players on his team in the same game. Home clubs shall choose their jersey color, either white or official team color, and visiting clubs must wear the opposite. For preseason, regular season, or postseason games, the two competing teams may wear jerseys in their official colors, non-white, provided the commissioner determines that such colors are of sufficient contrast. Y'all, that's a whole lot. Basically, what it says is, hey, you can't wear a highlighter neon green, yellow cleats unless that's one of your team's colors. Or unless it's in the month of October when the NFL's crucial catch happens, or unless it's in week 13 where it's my cause, my cleats. So I also dug in and found that the only way that the NFL will threaten to bench you is if your equipment that doesn't match is a safety hazard to you or to others. Otherwise, they're just going to fine the crap out of you. I believe in AJ's case, it would have been a $7,000 fine if he had not changed from the bright cleats to the black cleats. So I asked a friend that would know firsthand because they may or may not have played in the NFL. I just wanted clarification. Was there a safety issue? No. This rule is just meant to have everyone look uniform. That's it. Y'all, that's literally it. So AJ goes down in this article and in this interview, you know, they're asking him about his shoes. And he had actually said something back in training camp that I read. He had on bright pink cleats at training camp. And he said the reason he does is that it's easy for his daughter, who is 4, to pick him out when he has on bright colored cleats. And y'all, I think that's adorable. I think that is so cute. So during training camp, he wore bright pink cleats. During this game, he wore bright green. Well, I guess the bright green is not technically Philadelphia Eagles green, so therefore he had to change into black cleats or white cleats. Are you kidding me? Are you literally kidding me? The man is doing this so his 4-year-old daughter can pick him out on the field. First of all, I think that is so cool and so cute and so smart on his part. Like, his baby girl wants to watch him. How can you not want to support him in that? Second of all, let's go back to something I mentioned. Week 13, my cause, my cleats. In week 13, teams are allowed to let their players wear cleats that are really cool and artistic, and a lot of them have all kinds of crazy designs on them. But what they do is they all support a charitable organization. And I just think that's super awesome. So what's the harm in letting AJ maybe pay a $7,000 fine once a year to wear his bright green cleats? Why can't we do that? On the other side of that, what just absolutely drives me nuts is when I'm watching the Kansas City Chiefs and their players are allowed to wear yellow cleats. And y'all, the yellow makes me think there's a flag on the field every damn play because it's the same color yellow as the flag. So they can do that, but yet he can't. Y'all make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Now I get it. If it was, hey, we have a deal with Nike. Nike makes all of the uniforms and we want all of our players to wear Nike shoes. Okay, great. Then let him wear some bright green, yellow shoes, bright green highlighter. I don't even know what color it is. It doesn't matter what color it is. Let him wear his Nike shoes so his daughter can see him. And also $7,000 or $10,000 for an entire year to let it go towards a charitable organization or go towards the charities that the NFL supports. I don't think that's too much to ask. I feel like that's a great compromise. And then you do start bringing things to the forefront. Like I know AJ's cause that he's going to wear his cleats for, it's for domestic violence, to help kids and women trying to get out of domestic violence situations. Like, why can't he just pay $10,000 and let that go towards that charity all season? And he's going to bring awareness to it. Like, why does it only have to be one thing? Like, why do we have to continually control this narrative? Why do we have to continually we want to look uniform? Like, I get it. I now understand even more so after this just utter crap. It's the No Fun League. It is the no fun leak. And apparently Siri is not happy with me as I'm waving my arms around. She thought I was trying to get her to answer.
Not sure I understand.
See, she's not sure she understands. Siri, I don't understand either. But seriously, y'all, I don't understand this. I think it's great that he's wanting to do that so his daughter can watch him. I also do think it was pretty cool that this past weekend when I saw him wearing the pink, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. It's October Crucial Catch, which is the NFL's month-long thing in October. It kind of evolved from doing the breast cancer to being more of an overall cancer awareness month with the American Cancer Society for all types of cancer. So I guess because of that, because it did start off as pink, then AJ can now for the month of October wear his bright pink cleats with his bright yellow shoestrings, and they were amazing. But I'm going to take it a step further. NFL, if his cleats had been gold, could he have worn them for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month? I mean, I'm just saying, it's one of those things. And so, yeah, I'm here for there being a rule change. I'm totally on board with understanding if uniforms maybe don't go along with contracts with specific apparel companies, or if they even go against safety concerns, those types of things. Otherwise, y'all, it's a pair of shoes. It's literally a pair of shoes. Get over yourselves, NFL. Let them have some fun. And I guarantee you, if you do that, you won't be having to worry about if she who shall not be named shows up to a game with Mama Kelsey and brings her famous friends. Oh, one of them being Ryan Reynolds. And that's how you bring in younger viewers. No, make it fun. The NBA, man, they do the cool jerseys. Heck, even the MLB is doing that kind of stuff now. It's like, y'all need to do this and just have fun with it. Like, it's a game. Yes, it's your profession, but it's still a game. All right, coming off that soapbox, AJ, if you hear this, just know I am here for it. I think you should wear whatever color cleats because baby girl needs to see her daddy. I think that's absolutely wonderful. So, not that that's probably going to change Goodell's mind, but still, I can try. All right, on to the next thing. This episode, I think I said, I was going to be a little careful and not talk a whole lot about college football, and actually not even really talk a whole lot about NFL. I just kind of wanted to touch on some of the social topics. So we're going to come with a new Don't Flinch. We haven't done one in a couple of weeks, so I want to bring a couple of things. I will tell on myself. Best friend Cody can also tell. I did flinch. I flinched at the end of the Ole Miss Arkansas game. I could not watch. I was so scared. I literally put my head between my legs and started rocking back and forth. So no, I did not see the interception at the end of the game. I've now watched it via replay multiple times. But I flinched. Guys, I flinched. It does something to me. I just get nervous. It's just a thing. So that's a fun one. A little fun flinching on myself. One of the other things that I do want to talk about, though, that is a little bit more serious, Jrue Holliday just got traded within the NBA. And side note here, I'm not really a big NBA fan. I'm going to try and maybe get a little bit more into it because I think what I've seen so far in the preseason and some of the trades that have been happening, I think there's going to be a lot of, not drama, but there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines, kind of like, we talked a lot earlier in the Pac-12. Like, there's a lot of fun storylines there, and there are going to be some, hey, you traded me away in the middle of the night, like, I want revenge on you kind of thing. So I kind of want to pay a little bit more attention to the NBA this year. But one of the things that I saw, Lauren Holliday, Jrue's wife, posted this, and I'm just going to read you all her statement. On Wednesday, my husband took a nap. He woke up to news that he had been moved. No warning, no heads up, not even a conversation that it could be a possibility. Just, it's done. Now move on because, and I quote, it's not personal, it's business, end quote. I'm not sharing this to say we are entitled to anything. I'm sharing this to say we are human beings whose kids develop friendships with other kids in our community. We are people who value family and friendships and invest in the cities we play in. We don't just take from the city we play in, we give to the city we play in, and we give our all. So yes, this is more than a business, not because we're offended by it, but because we are people, we're humans, we have relationships, dreams, and a connection to where we play. As I write this, we are grieving the loss of that while celebrating the hope that the joy of what's ahead. The growth is in allowing ourselves to feel this pain now and turn it into power for how we move forward. That's who we are, and that's who we will always be. End quote. Lauren Holliday. My new just favorite person. You just hit home for me. You just said it. You took everything I have tried to say about sports and things and you rolled it up, but you rolled it up in the perspective of someone who doesn't step out on that court to actually play said game. You said it from someone who is there to love and support the person who is doing that. And so I applaud you. I wish there had at least been a conversation with Jrue. I think that's only fair. I wish there were more, executives and teams that would do that. And I get it. It's not personal. It's a business. But people make businesses go. People make this world go round. So I'm really tired of the it's not personal, it's this. No, it is personal because you're talking about a person. So bravo to you. She didn't flinch, y'all. She didn't flinch at all. So I'm really happy for her. I'm really happy she used that voice. I'm not happy she got traded. I'm happy that she's going to use it though and turn it into something different and something very, very positive. And I have no doubt at all that they're going to go change where they end up, no matter where that is, long-term, short-term, whatever. I think we even kind of saw that when you look at the NFL, you look at what Peyton Manning did, he still does a ton of things with the city of Indianapolis. He still does a ton of things with Denver. They're still involved in the state of Tennessee. And I just think that's so cool that he and Ashley do that. So Lauren, like I said, I applaud you. Good on you. And with that, I think it's time to wrap this one up. So, as always, you can find us on Instagram at the Staredown_podcast. You can find us on Twitter at the Staredown Pod. You can find us on Facebook just by searching the Staredown, all one word. You can also email us, thestaredownpod@gmail.com. You can also go to thealabamatake.com and plug in here every Friday. TD, one of the hosts of Taking on Sports, Blaine, the godfather of the Alabama Take, and I do a blog. And we pick 3 college games and we pick an NFL game against the spread. I know y'all have heard me talk about this if you've listened to past episodes. But for the second time, I went 4-0. And I was so excited. And so I was really excited because the first weekend I went 4-0, Ole Miss lost to Alabama. And I was so afraid that if I went 4-0 again, that would mean Ole Miss was going to lose. But they didn't. So that streak is broken. It's totally weird because it did not work, thankfully. So go check out our blog every Friday. If you want to go make a bet, maybe don't put money on it. Or maybe do the hey, your first bet, if you put in $20, then we'll match your $20. Maybe do that instead. But make sure it's not a ton. Or, I don't know. Like I said, maybe just don't make the bet and just go read the blog because it's fun. So go check that out every Friday. As always, send me your thoughts. Send me your questions. Send me your topics. Let me know what you think. You can also go leave me a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Share it with your friends. If you don't like it, share it with your enemies. And hey, if you don't really like football, then as my friend Justin says, even wine can make me like football. So maybe have a glass of wine or two because here at the Staredown, it's time to sit back, relax, grab a drink or two, and listen to the Staredown. Hotty toddy, y'all. We'll see y'all Friday. Have a good one.